Mountain of Life by Tran. In memory of all my loved ones, for I've yet to watch the grass grow wildly. Chapter 1. Let's start with the question, what is love? Indeed, a four-letter word with multiple meanings and different perspectives from one individual and groups of individuals. Given enough attention, one can fully appreciate the magnitude for what love is. Certain books, I dare say, have their own instigated views and opinions for what love is and not. Focusing on the word love can lead to many fruitful and desirable affiliations, generating many leads and connections, for it is love, like a cup being filled with water, will endlessly overflow many more various cups. I seriously ask this question, what is love? And to many people, their interpretations and views are found compelling and very, very entertaining. It is a fantastic and inspirational concept, and one can only wish for more. Various labels, titles, groupings attached to people from namely achievement, goals, etc., etc. Can this be love? Simply put, it can and will. So feedback, what is love? I really love the idea and correlation when someone I met once told me what love is. Ha! You thought I was going to give you the answer just like that now, didn't you? It might have worked, but since you are still reading, I will explain an analogy which will introduce you to partly grasping the concept of love. Imagine you are an electrical being. Oh boy, let's not go all ill-like now, although they do taste very splendid. Right, diverging from the image. You send and receive pulses, and what sticks to you, well, are the things, just sticks to you. Think of it as a charge, you namely being positive. If you are to think, you being made up of zillions and trillions and godzillions of electrons charged positively, then you may or may not know you subsequently will attract something which is negatively charged. I'm joking, or maybe I'm not. The rule is attractiveness, and what attracts you. Namely, if you are to repel or repulse, but knowing this, you can and also be able to repulse, and even do both. What do you mean, you might say, sniffing the snot back in my nose, for it is a very cold day. That is how powerful love is. It can and will drive people to do measurable and immeasurable things, whereas physically, mentally, or mentally, physically. I do like playing with words, giggles in a carefree tone. The rule is, adding a little drum roll and then maybe a bit of guitar licks, do not play with love. What? You haven't even described what love is. And again, I reiterate, love is a very powerful and enormous driving emotion, which is for everyone. But then again, you can say, is hate. Let's not go down that path. What on earth are you on about, might be a question. And for those who are exceptionally gifted and talented at asking questions, clear thumbs up or thumbs down. Interest on the topic love, we all experience it one way or another, because it is everywhere. It's just having the right key skills to notice them or notice it. Given enough time to the individual, namely from a very busy working environment or not so busy, some can get inspired to do things of great proportion if the mind is well or not well enough. Once again, love, what is it? Lack of it? More of it? None of it? Cannot be used to describe it, for it is not a material, visible, sensible, feelable entity or non-entity. Love is everywhere, anywhere, at all times, throughout time, as it is immortal and cannot be created or destroyed. You might ask the question, hang on, what if I ended up in a relationship and it ended? Isn't that a loss of love? The simple and direct answer is no. That is because you are associating a feeling of loss, which is simply that. For love cannot be coupled in or grouped in with loss. What? Come again? Coughs to signal a point. Even with loss, you can still love. They are two independent words, one with a finite or multiple meaning, and the other, which is, love. Chapter 2. Let's go into the electrical being, vision. Neurons from the mind are constantly sending signals all over the body, and that's because you are an electrifying, reverting being, emitting pulses and waves of thunder, lightning, oscillating throughout everywhere you go. What? Every describable, non-describable thing you touch, smell, eat, feel, sense is love. Hold for a second, give a moment to take in what's just been read. Hey, ain't you contradicting yourself? What do you think? Am I? I mean, there's no point whatsoever, and you still haven't given the answer to what love is. That's a very clear point you stated, for when there is a goal in mind or focus, you might get blinded and will not notice things around you which have contributed. Can this be love? I cannot answer that for you. You will need to figure out one for yourself. But what I can do is write, and write I will, since I still have my fingers and they can still move dancing away at the keyboard, brainstorming any thought which comes into mind. What was the original question? What is love? That's it. Think again. What is love? Ha ha ha. How many times have I used this word already in typing this opinion? What is going on with the mind at the moment as I type? More questions and yet more excuses and more testing and more practice which to prove a point which will lead to another point, and eventually there is no point to connect because there is no space. Well, what to do then? Create space. Create space for love. That's right. Creating space for love is definitely and the best and utmost appreciated thing to do, and with space there's so much of it, it is wrong to think in a three-dimensional solution for what space can truly entail. Wait, you might be thinking, and if you're thinking then you're not necessarily loving. What? I'll put this rule out as well. Trust in love. You're probably thinking, I don't even know what love is, and you want me to trust in it, create space for it. What would happen if trust was broken and the link between trust and love turns into think, deceive and hate? It's love. You can trust love, for love is ha. Not so easy, Tiger. You've only read about 0.1419265358397993233838327953 and so on and so forth, and you're already jumping for a direct solution. Take a break, go feed a duck or something. Hey, you said love is not material, but I love my teddy bear that I bought from the car boot sale with my hard-earned cash. I mean, I love it so much that I slaved, hustled, asked for donation, crawled on the floor to buy this ridiculously inexpensive but marketed at a very expensive price because why? People have placed a high stack and standard for it and believe that it is the price you should pay for this bought illusion for what love is. And because you have a required target of love, you slowly and ever so obediently believe in acquiring more of this bought love, becoming obsessed with it to the point where you require so much of this lovely stuff, which you place the tag of love to it, that you have suffocated yourself in this heap of mass which has been cleverly converted from other mass. You're not wrong. I'd do that too, or would do that, if only the rock was not so heavy. I'll give a mediocre example. There are 3 teddy bears. They are of the same design, and the person who crafted it deliberately made one bigger than the other and then placed a price tag on the bigger one much higher than the little one, namely it used more resource. A smaller than the other and placed a price tag ridiculously lesser than the other because it used much less resource than the two. Here's a problem now. You need to decide which one to buy because you love it so much and need it so badly, because without it you maybe fall in a hole of no love for teddy bears. So now is choice which to buy, the decision to make and commit. You buy the biggest teddy bear and you feel fantastic. The sheer size and ratio of it makes you lost for words, and you glare dreamy-eyed at the marvel size of it and wittingly how you carry it on your back as you walk along a busy street, being a central focal point. I mean, what? Check you out. I get the biggest teddy bear ever out of the 3. You buy the smallest one, and it's ideal to place in your pocket. Not only you bought it to symbolize your love for the teddy bear, where you appreciate its miniature craftsmanship, and then there's the other one, called the middle bear, since next to the other 2 is somewhat stands there. I mean, you already know which is big and which, well, is small. I wonder how it look on its own. Well, all in all, it don't matter. You're still buying. Hey, but that's not what I meant love to be. You're describing purchasing material objects and you're correlating it with love. Can't really answer that, but I would like to say, where on earth are you going to put the teddy bear? I'll make a suggestion. Put it in your head and try and listen to it as it speaks. Which brings me on to the next topic, choice and critical choice with emotions. Let's move on to the question, are you happy or sad? Chapter 3. This is what I think of all questions. with emotions, since realistically no one really knows the meaning of emotions. Coughs ever so slightly. Since being happy is normally associated with things such as joy and fun, sad being associated with things as well a frown on the face, happy being positive and sad being negative. I would prefer going with the approach being happy with a slight sadness or sad with a slight happiness. What? Huh? Huh? Sorry, the correct term is what? Indeed, when dealing with emotions, it is a very sensitive matter, and sometimes what you think is correct at that time might be wrong another time, so it's just best to manage it. The extremes, if happy is being represented, let's say a huge smile on the face, sad represented with a big frown on the face, then, well, I wouldn't know, since the mirror is not an emotional reader. Taps the table to signal a point. I like to share a joke which at the time I found reminded somewhat interesting. The joke goes like this. Why do some people turn this way, using a teaspoon dipped in a cup of minted leaved hot water stirring in a clockwise motion of the inner outer rim of the cup? And some people turn this way, again using a teaspoon dipped in the minted leaf hot water stirring in the anti-clockwise motion of the cup. And some even do this, now having the spoon swirling inside all over inside the cup to mix the sugar. What? So endorphin levels, I need not say more. The problem here is choice with emotions. Critically, I choose happy. Why? Damn, can never beat the white kid now. Okay, this is why my opinion. Being happier will generally lead to fruitful emotions and actions, such as writing an opinion or eating an apple. I'm joking, or maybe I'm not. In all seriousness, happy emotions lead to laughter, the sound and breathing you make when, I don't know, someone wants to punch you in the nose. I'm joking. Never allow anyone to do that to you, and don't do that to anyone just for the sole purpose to make them laugh, or try not to. What if, I so hate if questions, I was to choose sad? Well, choosing sad will lead to negative actions and emotions, and possibly negative actions, such as, eating ice cream. But I like ice cream might be a response. In fact, I like ice cream too. Who doesn't? I mean, I can eat so much ice cream till eventually all my teeth will turn all sensitive. Then I won't be able to eat anything else but ice cream. Gelato does taste so nice. The drooling, the cold sensation as sweet texture as it enters the mouth, where your tongue can play with the moist creamy substance. Damn, I feel like sicking already. So happy if you wanted a vague and direct quick response. Let's move on to the frustrated and much spoke about emotional pain. Chapter 4. Emotional pain, or I like to call it phantom pain. What does it bring to the table? Teary-eyed, sleepless days and nights, lack of motivation, constant heartache, isolation, slow thinking, even trying to construct a sentence can be struggling. Clear signs of depression. A trigger, a thought deep in the mind, having lost something of high importance, non-lethal but extremely emotionally painful on a long-term basis. The inability to feel joy, pleasure, fun. A smoke screen develops to cloud those who cares for you, to keep them safe while the box is open. Things are too easy to predict, hard to share. A secret can only remain a secret when it is not shared, although one can debate openly on the secret and it still remains a secret. I've been connected with no finite entropy on my side. I can't bear the days that go by without you. I'm in constant limbo of all the negatives that go on. I don't think I could be able to feel love again. Living life full of regrets, pondering aspects, what if? We all have the capability to move on in time, and choices to make, sometimes fooling ourselves to satisfy our core beliefs. You were once a part of me and now you left, taking away my 5 senses. I want them back. With pain will lead to revenge. With revenge will lead to hate, and with hate comes bitterness, sorrow, and destruction. The endless void ultimately believing an injustice has occurred. Why do such emotions exist? Without sadness, then you will not know what is happiness. Without pleasure, you will not know what is pain. Without hatred, you will not know what is love. And comes winter, for there is a summer. In thinking in terms of black and white, although they are appealing and appropriate at certain situations, sometimes we miss there can be shades of grey. And let's not forget the spectrum of the colourful rainbow, which we are to think, on a visual scale, compromises of 3 separate primary colours, red, blue and yellow. So what happens, I would assume, once knowing the brief definitions of certain emotions? Some tend to seek more of it. And due to the sheer spectrum of emotions and extremes, what can be done to manage it, if it was intended for us to be managed? Well, I assume first we'll need to define the emotions, let's say, have a clear view of what they mean to you. And yes, this is an individual case. For someone else's happiness might not be your own, and someone else's sadness might not be yours. Unlike colours, emotions, safe to say, cannot be pigeonholed into separate primary functions, but what can be done is to notice the certain thresholds and barriers which certain emotions brings. Which now leads me on to doors. Chapter 5. Doors are interesting, won't you say? I mean the conventional door which separates room from lobby, from street to river, and so on and so forth, and vice versa. Well, as adults, it's known common sense to have doors to separate individual spaces, which one can use as gateways to another space. Now, what particularly interests me is the door handle, the one with a circular round in shape and requires a certain grip to turn. Bear with me, I required little effort to grip hold of the handle to open the door, but that's not what interested me. What interested me was the child's attempt to open it. How they struggled holding onto the knob, whereas using most of their energy, whereas kicking the door, grabbing hold of the handle, rotating the handle left to right, and finally puffing up to a tantrum, then finally calling mum. It's always mum for some reason. There was no way that door was going to be easily opened due to the sheer design of the handle, which firstly you needed to apply a certain amount of force to grip the handle, and having accomplished that, you need to rotate it clockwise and then pull towards yourself. Yes, it's those doors that open inwards. The child's motive was they wanted to be close to their mother, and the door was in the way, which was closed. The child did their best to open the door, and yet it was still closed. Whoever invented the door handle, pretty sure it was intended to be that way. Problem is, how long will it take for the child to realize some doors to be left alone? Some doors can be opened with a certain determination, and some doors require help from, let's say, people who have already opened the door. Now, clever as inventors are, they add a lock which requires a key. How many times can one say they have lost their key to have the child find it? Fantastic news that will be. What can the child do before it went into the tantrum and kicked the door? Hurt its toe and save them the hassle? Well, that, my friend, has not been invented yet in this present moment in time. For time traveling backwards would require a lot of energy and speed. I will suggest the quickest and sometimes most misinterpreted solution, which is help. Okay? Shall I start from the beginning? Yeah, okay. Chapter 6. Help. What is help? How to help? Help, help, help. First things first, I do not know the meaning of help, but for some reason a lot of people seem to use this four-lettered word a lot, as well as another I know. Softly clears the throat. So what is help and to what standard? Question after question after question, igniting people to think and practice. No food on the table, try the floor. No food on the floor, try underground. No food underground, try growing some. Where to get seeds? Try farm. Where's the farm? Over there. How to get there? Go here and do this, do that. I'm here. What's a seed? Try digging. Now what? Got a mirror? No. Okay, keep digging. What now? I'm tired, hungry, and angry. I haven't found a single seed. Do you know what you're looking for? A seed. For what? So I can plant my own food, feed myself, and never go hungry again. Fine, keep digging. Hey, it's dark down here. I'm really tired. Think I'll take a rest. Oi, you down there. How'd you get there? What? Sorry, the correct term is what? Spoken in a very fast and high-pitched tone. You told me to dig. You're doing a good job. Keep going. It's getting wet down here. I want to come out. Keep going. Hey, I can't swim. Wait a minute. This water tastes so good till this moment in time floats to the top of the pit like a fish. Thanks to you, you have now dug a well which will allow people to get water and nourish vegetation for plentiful food, despite your selfish desires being persistent and loyal to your command. For you are the seed, and your reward is compassion, if you choose to accept it. Judgmentally, cruel, and ruthless might be some opinions if we were mere spectators viewing the scenario from afar, but not having been in both shoes. But as spectators, judgment would be the sought-out solution which we can weigh out with evidence, because I would assume there to be more spectators than diggers and commanders. So question is, can
Judgment be justice. Tricky. Let's go do some research, which will lead you on to the challenge phase, Digger versus Commander. Who will win? Who will lose? Who cares, winning or losing? Someone's still being paid, sitting comfortably, I hope. On that note, how do you show you care? Understanding. Learning and developing your skills to understanding will arm you and set your foundations, whereas to evaluate, to judge, to take action, or simply just answering questions. Now let's add that the digger is a young boy and the commander is the father of the boy, and we'll add that all statement, all parents love their children. What would you think now about love? You can dismiss the later statement, or you can question if the statement holds true, or you can believe the statement is true and analyze with understanding. What as spectators will often do is judge if, of course, you, they, we were interested, and will probably and most definitely ask the question why, 3 times for emphasis and cheers. So should or could we be less judgmental and critical to jumping to this open-ended turmoil question why and let it rest ourselves of the frustrated serenity? I dare not answer that question, for fear is a gory and sorrowful path which inhibits anger to oneself. Witness and the will to forgive can mortify even the most empathetic spectator. It is will which brings lightning, and forgiveness which brings thunder from the storms which cry havoc everywhere it goes. I do like to share another story, and it starts in the kitchen. Chapter 7. In the kitchen, I noticed a rather huge bee on top of the kitchen door, buzzing away hesitantly. It was looking in the direction of the window. Obviously, it felt trapped and wanted to get out. The window was clear, and the other side was the garden, where you can see the gleaming sunny light tinting the objects, casting various shadows and pasting glory to brighten up the wilderness, giving mysterious glows. Anyways, silly-minded as I am, I asked the bee would it mind waiting so I can get my cameras to take a picture. And you know what happened next? The bee actually sat still on top of the door ledge curve. It was probably very tired and needed a little rest. As I returned with the camera, it seemed as though the bee was pacing up and down on the door top ledge as if waiting. I tried to get a decent view of it of the camera, limitations camera have compared to the eye. Anyways, I wasn't about to snap the picture because it was unable to focus in. It was way too small. I then asked, would you like to come closer so I can take a picture? You know what happened next? It got off the ledge and flew directly at me. I was shocked and then amazed. As it froze there, it hovered directly in front of me, about arm's length, and then, as you can say like a dance, or you can say making me dance, flew round and round the kitchen and then hid itself behind the curtains. I wasn't able to take a picture of the camera, but I did eventually as it moved into view and pause. Snap. What a great memory. Interestingly, there was also a fly doing the same thing in the kitchen, but much faster. Too quick for the eye to follow, let alone me chasing it with a camera. It was noticed. For me, I guess need to start sensitizing the place. I'm attracting bugs. I suppose they were very entertaining for the eye muscles. How to voice that instantaneous feeling as the bee flew off the ledge and straight at me? Tough to express. Maybe like the one you would too if you eat something for the first time which suited you. Now, what has that got to do with emotions? The key word here is memory. For every moment in time along your timeline, you are without a doubt immersing with your surroundings. For every fragment of memory is priceless, and with the added assistance of a camera can reinforce this memory. But now, there is a but, which is an ongoing problem. What happens when you start forgetting things? Well, preferably memories is timeline's most emotional expressions. You shall practice and practice and practice till you will be able to feel the memory, and that memory is not yours but for the memory of others. Speaking of which, since we are writing about emotions and on the topic of memories, there's a really appealing memory which everyone shares no matter what age, and that is a hug, or better put, body warmth from another. Chapter 8. Taking a long deep breath and clearing your thoughts from all distraction, I see a tree. Or maybe it's due to staring at a tree too long and the fact that I have one in the garden, but anyways. You see, I like looking at trees, knowing that trees grow from a single seed and can grow up to great lengths, grow branches and have leaves. Bear with me. You see, it is life. It is a living, breathing, and immersing and adapting to its surroundings. And over a different timescale, you will notice moderate changes due to environmental nurturing. So hug a tree. First, you need to define what is a hug before you jump to ignorant thoughts. That moment when time is paused and that calm and comfortable feeling as you grasp the air, at first not knowing how to describe it, but you just know that it is very comfortable, wishing every pasting moment can be like this. Everything around you is phased out as you are superimposing yourself. You breathe, it breathes. The wind helps it sing, and you listen ever so sharply to the rustling of the branches and the whispers of the leaves. You take another breath. This time you yearn for more of it, and you grasp harder, as if to perceive that warmth ever echoing, savoring every microsecond, for time now is frozen. The roots of the tree starts to wobble, and the ground around it shakes. You feel the vibrations of the soil and stomp the ground, not with a heavy force, but a gentle, silent tap, causing a ripple like the one you observe when you throw a stone in the middle of the water. That silent uniform distribution, concentrically dispersing. The branches start to waver and the ground shakes no more. 2 leaves drop to the ground and you smell smoke burning from a distance, coughing calmly, for time now is moving. You bow your head low, taking a final breath, and you turn and walk in the direction of the north, knowingly. For at the tip of the mountain, you can view everything and anything. It will be hard, it will be tough, but at least there you will see what has happened, for your tears there will hopefully will save at least one tree which you once shared a hug. You start climbing this mountain, not with your hands and feet, but with your mind. Your first step will cause an earthquake, the second step will part a river, and the third step will blossom a flower. With all these steps in mind, you have one word which is truth, that is hope. Stop right there, please. Hope? Have you not heard the chants of "there is no hope in this world" murmured by many of billions of inhabitants? They're screaming in various ways and forms. How do you know that everyone's chanting this? Have you spoken to everyone? What I like to say is, I have 2 eyes, 2 ears, and 1 mouth. This is why I observe more, listen more, and chant less. Or you, how do you swing from trees to mountains to people, you monkey? Let's hope this example will swing where you need to be. Revealed is a piece of string with a ball attached to one end. It's held in front of your eye and swayed left and right. Ha ha ha. I've seen this before, you're trying to hypnotize me. You could be right. If I had that power, I would be very happy. Double coughs and smiles. Observe again. You're swinging the ball left to right. Wait a minute, what's that I see? It's the same. Do you have to shout so loud? My ear's bleeding now. What you are observing now is a phenomenon with its various arbitrary functions and frameworks concludes there is a direct order. No matter how many ways you swing it, will predominantly lead to one final conclusion from its sublight uncertainties. Patterned or chaos will come to what you stated. It's the same, and we're getting better at observing. Now all you need to do is share it without bleeding ears. I don't want to share it, it's too cool. To this moment you slap the barcodes off your face. Why was it cool? Was it not I who showed it to you in the first place? Wouldn't you want to share it also? It's too hard. I can't do it. I might mess up. I'll try later. Ha ha ha. That's what it's all about. Try and error. Break and rebuild. Break again and rebuild. Do not worry, for there is a plan which will get lost if, like you, will not share. My cake, your cake, our cake. Cake fight. To this moment you laugh manically. Mohahaha. All eyes turn on you. Do you think we're funny? Are we here to entertain you? You look up and you take a deep breath and muster. The air is thick and cloudy. 1,000 different smiles still won't make me laugh, for you have heard the one faint whisper, "What's this cake?" from the elderly man who also said, 1,000 photos and not one is good, for the air is thick and cloudy, obscuring the vision of the man. He may not know the meaning of good or bad, but left with envy. Silly bugger left the lens cap on, that's why. A gentle breeze blows cool in the air. Your journey is about to begin, and the weight of your hands and feet are light, for you are now ready to make your next step. You once visioned the mountains made of diamonds. Vision it made of power. Vision it made of knowledge. You see past and follow through, and you see a much higher mountain, which the summit of the latter mountains does not even match the base of this mountain. This main mountain is called hope. Made of hope, immortalized, will generate and replenish all which we were once thought to be the plateau. For if a landslide or mountain quake from this mountain will crush and shard the other mountains. You see, to get to hope, you must first find a route past the other mountains, and this route is called faith. Without faith, there will be no hope. Without hope, then the mountains you see and climb won't feel as high. What will the next question be? I'll simply answer, have faith and hope. You're obsessed with mountains. I'm hungry, where's my food? You point in the direction of the mountain of diamonds, but your fingers shake and your arm goes numb. You relax and point in the direction of the mountain power. Your fingers turn into a fist and your arm is tense. You relax and point into the direction of mountain knowledge. Your hands turn into a palm, then to two fingers like bunny ears, and your arm is flexible. You relax and point in the direction of mountain home. Instantly, you feel a surge of energy, revitalizing every muscle, and your eye goes wide open. Grab hold, we're going, and so your journey begins. Chapter 9. During this walk along the way, you encounter a rather appealing flower. It is none like other than you ever seen before. The petals were shining bright red, and it gave off an alluring aroma. Pausing for a brief period of time, you notice the flower to be surrounded by shrubs, and the earth beneath it seems to be brittle and coarse. It must have struggled very hard to bloom to such a radiant glory. Kneeling low one by one, you start clearing the shrubs till your hands turn numb and your back and legs turn to stone. There, from your backpack, you pour spring water from which you saved from the journey, gathered from the wells of prosperity, also known to be the fountain of youth. The earth beneath begins to soften, bearing the roots which you begin to spread firmly to your foundations, and the stem starts to grow in size, steaming a violet luminaire. The petals begin to fan out further, taking in all the nutrients of the water, becoming more radiant, glowing, bright crimson, which begin to flutter as the wind blows gently. The fluorescent green leaves, once curled up close to the stem, now spreads wildly. "What you doing?" shouts the monkey. "We needed that water. Now how you suppose we climb with no water?" Smiling back to the monkey, "You could be right. For now my legs and back have turned to stone. Let the flowers spread wildly, for such a beauty must be shared and admired, even if for a moment of time. That time will be well spent. For its journey to survive and grow is admirable and deserves the much needed care and appreciation. Who knows, we might never see another flower like this again." A few petals begin to drop to the ground. Leaning forward, you catch the petals and begin to taste it. It tasted bitter. Its passion to grow and survive from its coarse wilderness has caused it to become very bitter. On close inspection, you find that due to the rapid growth, have attracted many insects and now feeding away at the stem. It has tasted the many nutrients of the water pool, now seeks more, becoming carnivorous and striving to grow and avidly seek. The branches start to spread to your stone legs, entangling you. It is now squeezing blood from a stone. You feel a certain amount of guilt, for if you have never instigated and observed the flower, would have been a beauty, and now need to worry about the insects, nor its passion to grow wildly. This is cause and effect, for you have caused the growth, and the effect is growth. You start to feel slightly faint, for the thorns wedged deep in you start sapping away your blue liquid blood, and the crimson petal starts to shine even more bright, blinding you for an instant. Defenseless and growing weaker from the minute you feel a sharp sensation in your back and legs. Finally, they are free, for the sapping of the thorns has crushed the stone-like body parts, helping relieving your idle self, clearing yourself free from the thorns and the branches, leaves, and dusting your back, hopping onto your feet, moving. You feel a sudden sensation, for the flower is still hungry for more and will not stop reaching for more taste, expanding its territory. "Let's go," edges the monkey. But the crimson petals were too alluring for you as you glance, not being able to move an inch, for its beauty has encapsulated you within its domain. Whack! "Move!" the monkey, striking the shin of your leg, biting deep into your lip, crunching hard with your teeth. You feel an enormous amount of pain rushing into your legs. It was slow to start off with, since the impact inflicted took a while to register. "Why did you do that for?" you snarled. "I was going to move." Smirking, the monkey replied, cause and effect. I cause your pain and the effect is pain that you gain. No pain, no gain. Why? That's why. From that, the monkey was starting fleeing as if to perceiving its life now is threatened. You smile, take a last look at the flower and start moving towards the direction of the monkey, who you just make out as a speck in a far distance. Your body is heavy, for you have lost too much blood, and you feel the pain from your leg, from the thorn scars and delivered pain from the monkey. You're fine because you're still walking. Finally, you catch up to the monkey, but it stands there stationary. The monkey is in tears and thrusting the ground triumphantly. I'm sorry, I hurt you. You are already weak, and I hurt you further. From your backpack, you uncover an apple. Pruning the apple from all the gathered dust and debris, you hand the apple to the monkey. Eat. We still have a long journey ahead of us. Don't let little worries worry you too much. I'm sorry for not listening to you. For when the time comes for us to reminiscence the past, we shall remember we have encountered the crimson flower. You are not wrong to define me as weak, for I now lack the energy to make another step, and you can observe the physical bodies to be injured. My friend, it's only the outer shell, which can be easily healed from herbs, remedies, and medicine applied correctly, can polish and mend such wounds and injuries. Now, monkey, listen very carefully. There is a known injury which cannot be easily healed, wound from the heart. Till that day comes when you to experience it, I will show you the only method and way to tend to it. For now, eating this lovely apple, handing the fruit over to the palms of the hands, are exposed, smooth and clean, without a trace of hard manual work, for it has been forever soaked in milk, not water, since there will be an allergic reaction if done so otherwise, as so they say. Gripping hard and taking the first bite of the gifted apple. So fresh! I've eaten many apples, but why does this one taste so fresh? Before long it is now devouring the food had great ferocity. It was hungry, and with hunger sparks the most primitive basic instinct, which is to feed. Upon feeding the apple, it gets to the core of the fruit, and with a sudden chews through the seed. Yuck! What was that? Now spitting the remains out and trying effortlessly to wipe the lips, ponders what tasted so bitter and grisly to the tongue. With the sweetness of things and your enjoyment, there can be seeded deep to its core the bitter of taste, for you have tasted and enjoyed the apple, and knowingly coming from a seed which is bitter. Like all things, we strive to improve ourselves, for there is a final way of life, and as your growth exceeds to a fruitful blossom, you will reap the rewards for your fruitful growth. I want more. Do you have any more apples? The apple you ate is the last of its kind, and you have just bitten deep into its seed, for now cannot grow another. It has fulfilled its mission. Let us hope we make use of its sacrifice and make use of the energy. Now, what you are trying to say is I'll never be able to eat something so fresh and nice again? That is not what I'm saying. I'm merely explaining to you that there is no other apple like the one I just gave you, and the seed which you've bitten deep into may have been its only fight for survival, which you have now spat out because it was not to your liking. Just like anything else, without humble appreciation and the diligence, can root out the possible opportunities for future growth. So was I wrong? Define wrong. You merely enjoyed the apple and you disliked the seed as it gave a different taste. A process in which your mind is telling you you liked the initial taste of it and disliked and rejected the aftertaste as you continued. A process which we can learn from, so we can move and be more clued up on the situation of eating the apple. I think I was wrong because now the seed is gone. Where do you think I got the apple from? An apple tree. Where do you think the apple tree came from? A seed. Where do you think the seed came from? An apple. Hold on a second. Something's not right here, but I can't seem to figure out what it is. It's okay. These sets of questions have baffled many people, and attempting to answer them will lead you closer to a solution which, like the initial taste of the apple, can be very sweet. How do you know? I don't know would be the most direct answer. Then why are you telling me this? Being inquisitive is a talent, otherwise you end up like me saying I don't know. But you must know, because you gave me the apple. I merely found the apple, placed it in my backpack, believing it would be of some use one day. What the main message here is for you to think. Think about your actions and what your actions will lead to and your possible consequences. A seed. Oh, possible consequences. But I was hungry. Tenacity is all it takes to control your urging desires to override your most conceited thoughts. Come, let us move. Chapter 10. The sky begins to darken and cloud joins as stars begin to brighten. The air is beginning to get cold and you feel the shivers. Time to wake up. Realize the situation you're in. Come to your senses. The cloud begins to form bigger, binding against each other. You look up to the clouds and see a face forming. It's a smile. A smile so wide its width and the ends of the edges are peering beneath the eyes. Obviously it's not a face and never be a face, but using a little bit of imagination and a little bit of realization and a little bit of thought, anything and everything can be molded to what you perceive to be true. Until that time, without the influence of exterior motives, only then can your mind be of rest. The silent working mind, the mind of pressure, the mind of commitment, the mind of plan. Calm these minds, calm them to the extent that you cannot vision pressure, vision commitment, vision plan, and let it flow with the essence of imagination, essence of creativity, essence of freedom. Visualize and exalt in this utopia. What's that I smell? Coffee? Where'd you get the coffee from? Well, I started making it while you were babbling about something and staring at the skies. I made you one also. How many steps did it take you to make the coffee? If you were to write a detailed plan of the process of making a coffee, you find that the outcome would be the same length as you were to do any plan. Yeah. Slap. Or you never answered my question. Where'd you get the coffee from? Well, if you'd like to know, I got it from the shop. Where is the shop? Over there. Where? Over there. I don't see it. That is because you're not looking and molding your imagination to become reality. You see, you might see it if you try hard enough. For now, just enjoy the coffee which I prepared for you. You prepared coffee for me? I thought you said you got it from the shop. The one I'm drinking now I got from the shop. And the one that I handed to you is the one I prepared. I learned from how to make it while I was observing the shopkeeper and remembered the process and ingredients being used to formulate a coffee, which is turn that you are now holding. So by observation, you learned something and replicated it because you had a frame of reference which you followed from memory and practice. Let me taste your coffee. You are handed the coffee, which was the one the monkey has got from the shop, and have a quick slurp and taste of it. Pausing for a while, you have a taste of the coffee which the monkey has given you. Without even thinking, you notice there to be a taste difference. The one from the shop tasted much richer than the one handed to you, prepared from the monkey itself. So why does your one taste so much richer? You explained to the monkey. Thought you followed the process and replicated the coffee as you were seen. I don't know would be a quick answer. I'm not satisfied with this answer. There must be an unknown variable which somewhere where you didn't account for. I might have another explanation. The time difference. The time that the shop took to make the coffee is not the same time as I took to make the coffee, since mine was much after. So the allocation for time is different. That might be an attribute to consider. That does make sense, but saying that would be correct to assume that time is a scale or contributing factor in all processes and things we do? Well, indeed, it would be safe to say so, since I wouldn't think that you can manipulate time. I have a suggestion though. I'm all ears. You see, did we just state that the statement that time is constant and assume it is not changeable variable and that all processes are governed by this constant? Then would it not be correct to also state that process is constant and unchangeable and that time is governed by this constant? I think what you did was switch the properties of each statement and formulated something which you believe to be equivalent to each other. Can I ask why you did this? To save time. So let me get this straight. You're saying if everything was constant and an unchangeable process, then it's correct to assume time would be different? Something like that. Well, I wouldn't know, monkey, since time has always been constant and unchangeable. But wouldn't you want to taste a richer coffee which you produce from the shop instead of the one I prepared for you? I'm sure if you had a few more goes at making coffee, it would be just as rich. Who has the time for that? Just be thankful for the one I prepared for you and stop comparing to the one I have, since we established they are both made at different timescales and therefore will not be the same. Fair point, but I still want to know how to make the one from the shop. Well, use your imagination and realization hard enough to find the shop yourself. Slurp, 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 enjoying its coffee. You peer into the cup of coffee you are holding and think, where on earth it find the cup and coffee materials to make the coffee in the first place? Taking and contemplating the words imagination and realization, you ponder, is this true for all animate objects? For a cup must have come from something, and the coffee must have been prepared from somewhere. The two of you sit down, slurping away. The skies fill the clouds and then darkens. It's getting to nightfall, and the air is becoming colder. Come, we must find somewhere warm and dry for shelter, since we wouldn't want to get ill now, do we? Speak for yourself. I've always been warm and dry. Can't you see my skin is waterproof and keeps my lovely body warm and dry? I don't need to go anywhere. I'm going to sit right here and enjoy my coffee. You think to yourself, you're not going to win this argument, so you tell the monkey, remember the mountain, remember the tree, and remember the path you are taking. Okay, I will start moving on one condition. What will be the condition? You stop calling me monkey, for I too have a name. So might I have the pleasure to know your name? No, for I wish not to be identified by the likes of you, that you have always placed labels on things which you don't understand in order to justify your understanding. Yes, I must agree, it's all too easy to put labels on things now. Why must we move anyways? Well, as you see the clouds in the skies, they have become clusters and darkened, so there is a high probability that it will rain. With rain, we'll become wet and cold, so we need to find shelter to keep warm and dry and not run the risk of becoming ill. I have never been ill, so I don't know what ill is. And who are you to predict the forming of the clustering of clouds will eventually become rain? And if it was to rain, who are you to say it will be wet and cold? This is general knowledge from hundreds and thousands of observations made. It is a prediction which we can use to prepare ourselves to be more safe and healthy. So what are you trying to tell me is that in the past there were people who fell ill and became unhealthy because they weren't able to make predictions due to not being knowledgeable and making observations to prepare themselves of such causes like raining? Then why do my coffee taste so rich and the one I prepared for you tastes not as rich? Okay, fine. Wouldn't it be better if I said the coffee that you prepared tasted richer, implying there was an improvement to the one that you have? Well, doing that implies that I've made the coffee better than the shopkeeper, which I initially learnt how to make the coffee, which I don't see to be the case. So would it be correct to state if the opinions of the outside judgment to momentarily change the perspective of the given process? Do you know how to make coffee? I have a general idea how to make coffee. Would it matter if I knew or didn't know how to make coffee for you to make a judgment, which you stated? I see where you're getting at. I believe it would be a case of mattering if I knew or not know how to make the coffee for me to establish a judgment. For I have tasted both cups and comparatively have compared one to their insignificantly taste richer than the other. You see, it's little decisions like these which can mold and affect whereas to get the coffee from me or get the coffee from the shop. And because I have no control of outside opinions of the matter, it is the open-ended constructive of criticism which will determine the outcome where to get the coffee despite both the shopkeeper and I have produced and prepared the same product. Hold on a second. But have we not established that the coffee is not the same? Because they were prepared at different timescales, therefore the products are not the same, and a uniform equivalence does not apply that they are uniform. So we have variations of ideas and opinions. What has that got to do with finding shelter to keep warm and dry and there to be a possibility that it will rain? You see, it is opinions and observations which have taught you to make use of possibilities and knowledge and make decisions to prevent the risk of becoming ill. Can't you see the implications of you slowly becoming more reliant on historical notes in order for you to plan and predict such occurrences? It also implies that you can't foresee such occurrences due to the learnt knowledge from the past observations. So does the quote "stuck in the past" mean anything to you? Well, that is not what we call research, and with research we can continue to contribute to general knowledge to prevent us from taking risks which can cause us to become ill. So what is a risk? The probability in which does not favor you, in a nutshell? Okay, fine. What is risk of a risk? The probability which does favor you. So wouldn't you say you're taking risks all the time? Well, that's because you worded it in a way which I responded in a logical way. There is no logic to that, since logic implies there is a known set of variables which you can manipulate to forecast the understanding describing a process. Like a chicken laid 1 egg for the first day, the second day it laid 2 eggs, the third day it laid 3 eggs. By logic, the fourth day the chicken will lay 4 eggs due to incrementally each day laying an additional egg. Who are you not to say the fourth day the chicken was eaten by a fox and laid no eggs? Well, that would be a risk to be factored in to prevent loss of eggs because it does not favor the logical steps of your given example and due to produce the wanted results. You need to factor in all possible risks adhered to the example. So really what you're saying is to get the desired results and to prove the logical argument holds true, you need to factor in the risks which will affect the results. Is this truly observing? I have an attempt to answer that question. I have to agree with you. From the moment we started observing a variable, we have changed its state to suit theories and hypotheses formulated to prove there to be true. What else can we do if we didn't have such theories and hypotheses to work on? Slurp, slurp, slurp. Tastes so good. The coffee. Well, I'm getting cold and I think I'll make out to the cave in the mountain of 2 o'clock, so I'm heading there. Then welcome to join me. I'm going to take my time and enjoy this coffee. Alright, okay, so that's...
Chapter 11. Let's start heading in the direction of the cave. As you get close to the mouth of the entrance, you could have sworn you heard a harp playing from within the cave. You take further steps to investigate where the sound is coming from. The cave leads you deeper and deeper into the mountain, till you find yourself eventually coming to a dead end. To your back, you can just make out the faint light which you have been guiding you within the entrance of the cave. Deep in the cave, you can't seem to make out what is where and where is what, since it's too dark to even make another step or investigate where you should land your next footing. From your backpack, you use flintstones and dried wood and attempt to spark a fire. "Stop!" shouts a voice. The sudden cry startles you, freezing at your pace, and you look up and around you. Who goes there? There was no reply, and you hear your echo repeating itself within the walls. Show yourself. Who goes there? Now fearful and agitated, you take up a guarding stance, ready for incoming attacks. Have no fear, fellow traveler. I am of no harm to you. Trying to make out the direction of the voice from the vibrations of the inner walls of the mountain cave, you are perplexed, since it seemed as though the voice came in the direction as someone was chatting directly in front of you. Not being able to see through the thick darkness, you try again to start a fire. Stop! This time it was very clear, so clear you thought the voice seemed to be right in front of you, but there was nothing there. Who are you? Show yourself. Don't start a fire, for if you do, I will surely perish. You're scared and afraid as you heard the voice tells you this sentence. What are you? I am darkness. Darkness? Yes, I am darkness. You are not dreaming, for I am the inner and outer darkness of every living being which has come deep within my mountain cave. I am the musical instrument which plays in your ears as you see darkness, namely me. Why are you here? I am here because you can see me, and this is my nesting area, which I reside as times are tranquil, and there is no need for me. Why are you here? It was cold and getting dark outside. I saw a cave and thought it was to be of shelter. Only people of great solitude can find this cave. Do you feel you're of great solitude? Wondering and pondering what those words meant, you decide to entertain the voice. Solitude? I have a mission. I have no time for solitude. Are you not peace with yourself? You do not reply and stand silently. What is driving you? You do not reply and stand silently. How are you? I'm fine.
Then I shall leave you at peace. From that, you can never hear the voice again and continue to try and spark a fire. You try to build a little campfire. From the sweat of your hands and the blood of your fingernails trickle to the wood chips as you strike the flint stone together. Finally, a small smolder of heated red forms as the wood chips and becomes a tiny blaze. Tendering gently to the lightened piece by piece you blow gently to expand the red warm chips. Finally, you have made a campfire, as it glares firmly to the added pieces of wood, lighting the room, giving you vision to the space in the cave. You need close to it, ideal for you to take a rest and get warm. Inspecting the cave interior, there seem to be fruits of lemon hanging from within the walls. Puzzled to how such fruits were to germinate in the cave, you grab one and begin to eat. The water dripping from the fruit as you crunch into the lemon seeps through your teeth, and you feel your thirst and dried lips slowly revitalizing. Nothing is in your mind, for the melon sweetness and the watery savory texture fills your mouth, bursting with juicy complexion. Finding it difficult to even chew down another bite, you bite at the lemon again, stuffing even more into your mouth can contain, and slowly churning the pieces to even smaller pieces for you to swallow. It fills your stomach and you're very satisfied. You reach out for another lemon, drooling for you want more of this satisfying exquisite taste, more of this rare consumable specimen that leaves you craving. Once again you start to bite down on the melon, without care of exterior shelling, for it is thin and soft and easy to chisel through with your teeth, hunting for the sweet meat of the fruit. Each bite you feel as if the mouth is exploding like a waterfall running through your throat, where rocks of fruits flow smoothly. What a taste, you think to yourself, for you were hungry and thirsty and thought it would be a miracle to experience such exotic sweet flavors in such an area. Hello! A familiar voice heard coming from the direction of the entrance for where you have first stepped forth into the cave. Hello! The voice gets louder and clearer, while you begin to start clearing your mouth out of the melon fruit. Monkey, is that you? You respond to the call and tidy yourself of your excessive act. Thought I told you not to call me monkey. The two of you reunite and start to sit together in front of the fire. Looks like you are nice and cozy and found yourself something to eat. Taking a look around the cave, you find there are no melons on the wall or vines which held the melons. Mystified, you explain what has happened to the monkey, every detail of it since the moment you've entered the cave. Reluctant to believe your story, the monkey begins to contemplate and understand to give light of the situation. You see, I think what you experience is a hallucination, for you have never eaten from when I last met you. If what you say is true about darkness and solitude, then why am I able to find this cave? I do not see anyone leave the cave, as I was watching you as you entered it and shortly followed. Unless there is another exit in the cave, which, as you can see, not to be the sense, where at a dead end, then will be no possible route for someone to leave. Another thing is I don't see any melon veins, or melons for the matter, but I do see is you built yourself a cozy fire. Fantastic, that, since it was getting very cold outside. You were right though about it beginning to rain, since I felt a few droplets to hurried myself to get to you. How would you have known to be a cave in the mountain? What are the chances of that happening? This must have been carved out long ago, since it doesn't seem to be naturally formed. Maybe like you, others from the past have decided to protect themselves from the rain. What did you eat? I want some. I'm starving. Never mind, let's get some rest. We'll need to look for food after the rain and conserve your energy. From your backpack hang the monkey a melon. You're not trying to tell me what happened is true, are you? What is truth? If what you observe is true, then it is true. What you can't observe, then it is false. Then if you are blind and you can't observe anything around you, will be false, for darkness and voices will be your only guide seeking what is true. Will that be true? So deep. I'm going to eat and get some rest. Taking a short nap close to the fire, the crackling of the talking glints from the breakdown of the individual wood chips alert your keen ears. It is soothing and calms the thought, giving rest to the mind. Your breathing is lightened and melody rhythmic. Resting your eyes closed, you hear the droplets of rain hit the ground, point by point, beating pulses of sharp pitches, harmonics. Drifting slowly into a deep slumber, you begin to dream. For dreams to be felt, you need to be warm, well-fed, and relaxed. Suddenly you awake. You hear no droplets of the rain coming from outside the cave. You exit and you step closer to the entrance of the sun. Bright, radiant rays shine brightly, blistering your eyes as you squint to observe the land. The landscape seems different from when you last remembered, and you slowly take a walk to embrace the newly fresh air. You can see a flock of pigeons and are flying in the air in a circular migrating form heading up the mountain. Too many to count as they pass over your head. You head back into the cave to try and wake the monkey, but it seemed so peaceful and left it to rest. The campfire you built becomes smolder and ash, but since the sun rays were so bright, there was no need to build another, for the temperature in the cave seemed well incubated. Thinking for a brief moment of time as you observe how peaceful it looks, you imagine, wouldn't it be great resting for all eternity? Remembering what darkness told you, what is your drive? What is the thing that gets you up early in the morning? That thing that helps you endure through the night? That thing that tells you must feed and drink? It would be too easy just to lay there like the monkey and wish night and day away. Focus, guts, and hunger. With focus, there will be little error in doing something. With guts, things which held you firmly will no longer be of grip. With hunger, the craving sense to fill a void, for you need it. Determining how to utilize these can be great tools to give you great strength of an ant, the flexibility of a jellyfish, and the mouth of a blue whale. Chapter 12. Taking a quick reality check, you assess the situation you are in. You ask a brutally honest question: are you happy? Does this imply you are the opposite? Does it mean you need to make circumstantial changes to pursue such emotions? Are you not content with what you have and what you can make of it? Will there ever be change to your surroundings? Can you have this confidence to drive and deliver whatever you wish to accomplish? Will you succeed? If you do, how do you know you have? Questions, situations, and scenarios, and case studies from learnt materials to experimentations. What is your purpose? Do you have one? And how are you to achieve this? It all starts off with a dream, your dream or someone else's dream. Realizing what role you play in the dream will be the start of the building blocks which will govern your every move, every step, and every decision. Notice these dreams, and they can become reality. Make plans to cultivate your thoughts with due diligence to whatever you undertake, believing you can, agreeing with yourself. For you, your will, like any other, is the same as anybody else's. Having to access that would be your own common denominator. We are not mind readers, nor possess the ability of telepathy. So having a common conjuncture can be the link between a common congruent. Your dreams are in the sky, so set your checkpoints accordingly, for ladders and lifts won't help you to fly. Your nemesis to such actions is doubt. Doubt in yourself and doubt in others. Learn to understand doubt, because without doubt you will not grow, nor walk, nor fly. For it is the adversary which will discourage your every move, every step, and every decision. Darkness voice lingers in the back of your mind. Are you not peace with yourself? It sparks the most obvious question: what is peace? What does peace mean to you? Why is it so important? How will I be of peace? If peace is a state of mind, what are the contingencies required to achieve it? You take a look at the monkey, how you casually thrown out in the statement, it looks so peaceful. Does peace mean it is a perception of things, which is animate but stationary, calm and unprovoked? You'll be able to be distinguished peace for yourself. Why wasn't you able to answer the question when darkness asked for it? It's true, you couldn't. Even responding don't know or direct yes or no would imply you knew something of it. In fact, it remains silent but dormant, a mystery which we all have a mutual understanding of, and will have an individual conception of what peace can be. Unlock your thought, you try and search for your knowledge of understanding to what yawn your companion awakens. I had a really good night's sleep. What time is it? Time for you to get up. Well, I know that got any more of that melon last night. It tasted so good. The skies are bright. Let us move. I think I'm going to stay right here and see if I can see vines of melon. Good luck. Wait, you're going without me? What is it you expect for me to do? You already decided you're going to stay here. Well, at least leave me with something which I can get a hold of you. You place your hand to your chest, breathe deeply, and strike the chest with your fingers. It pierces through your chest and you grab hold of your heart. With a sudden jerk, you rip the heart out of your chest and held it high in the sky. Air. It is still beating at the palms of your hands. Your smile turns to a grin as you feel the warm heartbeat pounding away. You hand it over and leave the cave. Collapse to the ground, you finally feel peaceful, and all the colors in the world start to fade to nothing but an empty dark void. It is then you see darkness. Darkness appears before you. I see you have found peace, but you seem to have lost something. What did you lose? I gave my heart away. How are you? I'm not whole, and I have to climb this mountain. I will aid you on your quest and will act as your guide, but I'll tell you this, the moment you gave your heart away, you are bounded to me. Where I'm going, I have no need for it. Interesting you should say that. I heard it many times before. You will need to become the best of the best. What is the best? The best will mean that there will be challenge other people to compare it. No, you will need to be the best meaning better than yourself, knowing that you are nothing, knowing that you are wrong, knowing you need constant improvement, altering yourself. How will I know I have become the best? You will not know, you will never know. It is not for you to know, for you will know nothing. It is I who will know, and then our bond will end. I will teach you to separate what you call emotions and turn you into a rock so dense that the only thing that will scratch you will be another rock of my teachings. You will not question my authority and do whatever I command. There will be no discussion for discrepancies in my ways. I say you do. Your outcome will be you will hear the cries of fishes as it gets eaten by bigger fishes, and you will become the biggest fish. What will happen to all the little fishes if all was eaten? Should we try not to grow the little ones to be big fishes? Interesting you should say that. I heard it many times before. How do you think you will grow to be the biggest fish? This is why emotions need to be separated. Then I don't want to be the biggest fish. Since fishes can't climb mountains anyways, and must we eat become big? The melon you ate, do you remember why you ate it? What happened as you gorged your teeth into it? Can you justify your feeling? Well, it left me wanting more. I didn't ask for your thinking process, I asked for your feelings. Feelings, what is that? Why don't I remember? One of the effects of losing your heart, no matter how grand and spontaneous the moment was, the feeling which you once attached to them would have been omitted from your pseudo-neurological memory. Hence why you might have troubles recalling that feeling of the melon's taste. The uncontrolling urging desire for filling a preemptive craving as vicarious consumption undergoes its pathological deities. Your conceited obsession to climb amidst this phantasmatic mountain, which you described for the solution, is resonating to obliterate targets requiring pinpoint accuracy. 2 words, struggle on. I would like to share with you also, I haven't fished for a very long time. Then let's go fishing. The seas, the rivers, the ponds, the lakes once were abundant with creatures which would move through the water smooth and streamlined for a breeze of the winds, and the moonlight magnetic force would cast magnolia waves disarray in the combination of consternation. The monogamies of chromosomes would blister their animation even to the spiraling of the skies. So bait. That's right, first you must understand that you are bait within the clustering of the celestial cosmos, and you must feed. Starting with the extremities of it, consuming centripetal, then centrifugal in a viscous motion. You're full of bosonic Higgs. Well, that will be your choice to derive it or not. The standard in which you set your limitless cognitional functions will not compare to that of your, what you call it, monkey, but that of the dimensional plane logarithmic to the Lagrange quantum justification. That is why you must consume, feed, absorb. Well, if I do that, what will happen to my image? I will be... There is no mirrors in my world, which you have forgotten. I am darkness. The mirror which has been forged in your world has been placed correctly in your memory when you have first seen me. Describing color to the sightless would be easy. Try not to say red is hot and have them believe it. Skins can burn. A dialect of a given process that has been amplitude of a quantum eigenstate uniform block peak at its height will still show traces of unjustification to the unconvinced and the unprovoked. Having to turn the heads of the focused individuals, you need to learn new methods of communication which are easy for the background noise to be hummed through to the mind. Sound is a great resource to chirp to the acute ear, and finding the correct pitch to pitch can be a pitch. I think a cat can do this very well. That's right, that's not all what cats can do. Observe a cat and you see how nimble and versatile they are, for they are experts in judging the surroundings, with claw and paws to match their everyday duty. You are not a cat, but having some cat reflexes can be fun. Sigh. What's wrong? The turning back of time. Huh? One of the problematic skills I've yet to master always leaves a churning to the stomach. Then eat something. Excitement, indeed excitement. The sour taste of a lemon prepared from a luscious broccoli steamed and char grilled using a fine coarse wood from a cherry tree can leave a scrutinizable taste to the sides of the tongue as they tense to the top. I know this. We call it tutting your teeth. And I'll call it a mouse. Oh, take heed and bear witness for the witty nitty little mouse, for its big ears, long nose and whippish tails, for its beady needy eyes are keen scouter hunters. Chasing its tail can leave you curbing, trying to box yourself in with it, the mice, for it may be your only ally to liberate out of the box. What is your problem? X. The acronymic symbol character, yet so simple and complicated with various accustomed, exploited in numerous occasions, and why? I don't know. Let us deter from the fourth for a second and practice something else, such as one sentence or many. Try meditate on these. The quick brown fox jumps over the lazy dog. Diamonds do bring bright blind in the corner of the eye, a lesson well learnt nonetheless, for snakes slivers and hiss, for they too need food, maybe a big ox, then a horse. Spare some change? Change spares no one, thank you. Think about it. Can't do it? Then don't think about it, waste of gas. Careful, you might hit into a block of wood. Now, meow. Your mission is far, why not bring the mission to you? Batting your eyelid at me? Is that the best you can do? Now try and invent some yourself. You're trying to turn me into a mouldy green piece of stone. Even the moss cultivated and carefully treated as it splits through the concrete slabs brings a glimmer of fortitude to the mundane. Another word, which will take time to cultivate, would be humility. What is humility? Slap yourself in the face, then why must you slap another? Okay, I like it. Then I'll show you the meaning of fear. Fear, what is that? Another four-letter word used and propagated on many occasions, for its clenched fist cannot relax and turn its hands to a palm, nor will it try. La 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 ha! Interception. You must have had great teachers nonetheless. You're getting boring now. Or what is that? Your keen senses start to alert your mouth, and a build-up of saliva starts to form. It's preparing for something which you have no control over. You see, darkness, it was great chatting with you, but I'm going fishing. May the fin be with you. Chapter 13. Darkness looms and a perpetual intervention scars the eerie scene from the eruption craters. Its ambiguous ambition to breed yet another stockpile to feed its voidless eternal occur because of its anonymity. The scent of the diligent one has sparked the inhibition of the fiend, and now its toothache from its amorphous tactile and sadistic produtional motion of gringing specimens which is fed upon now has been rejuvenated. The second voice can be heard from within the cave as you leave, and it ushers, I wonder how things look in your eyes. Clearing to yourself, mindfully chants, things look bright and cheerful. With a final look at the cave, you are very thankful for its tranquil and much needed tutelage, has helped you ready your next step. You have now learned what it is to be somewhat human, for the senses and craving has capitalized your inhibition and provoked the much needed and stagnant care. What is it? It is to hunt. Now let's pause for a brief period of time. Hunt? Wouldn't that put you into the Stone Ages where the Neanderthals used to roam? Well, think for a second. Why do you think that is the case? Do you think people will retard back to a time which, according to your much educated and taught discipline, have trained you to becoming very elaborate at explaining simple situations? Indeed, it's not easy. Nothing it ever is. But having to start off, challenging the first step, and no, not the step to a milestone, but the first step of guts, having to flip them into the mode of everything is easy can be entertaining. I gather from expert opinions and that having been peaked at a given field, you assume your justification to be right and ultimately correct. To what basis are you working from? What standards? Well, we have learned from archaeology and examining many debris and ornaments, pigmentation, fossils, and used other methods of detection to date such findings. So basically, what you've done is digging up dead things. History. No, we use technical methods to find carbon footprints of such artifacts and work from calculating the timescale to which the materials which would decay, since it's known that all things are from carbon. The study of electrons, chemistry, and mathematics. No, we use tools and devices to account for fossils and delicately examine the uncovered fossils and remains. So archaeology and pathology. For crying out loud, can you stop pulling labels to everything? Well, how else are we to distinguish a field if we don't put them into categories? You can't do that. I just did. What are you going to do about it? I'll get ill or probably find something new. Find or invent. What's the difference? Must I explain it to you, or can you think of something yourself? I have a headache now. Already? We only just started talking. Take a walk. 2. The first step. See? I told you was easy. Stop treating me like a nail, for I too need a breather. A nail, you say? Only carpenters and woodmen use such tools. Are you a tool, or would you subsequently like to be the carpenter? Understand that even a nail has its purpose, for a frame cannot be held firmly if not the nail has been positioned in the correct location, and with the slightest of deviation can result in a disassembled mantelpiece, which all would have a bite about. Well, you keep hammering. Of course I will be angry, for my head is soft, you know. Are you sure about that? Then why is it you are able to cut diamonds, eat beasts larger than yourself, and harvest natural resources for energy consumption? Alright, release. Release all which you believe to have worked for you. Have an outlet of this built up tension and frustration. That doesn't mean going around destroying things. It means repenting and accessing the much needed grievance. You know, like a kettle bean when boiled can make a very nice cup of tea. That felt better. To where to? You have already made a step, now make a next. Think first I wish to survey. What purpose would that hold? Indeed, while observing, you can learn and even match other disciplines, and might even be able to formulate and create some yourself. So first what you're doing is objective learning, leading to objective teaching. How now will you be convinced that what you are surveying is helpful to you? I'll give you a hint. Survey love and all will follow. Not this again. Whatever appeals and applies to you, whereas things and thoughts which give light to your motivation in completing and delivering a task, having prudent, prestigious perseverance. You may have had major, minor setbacks, and yes, sometimes can be placed in a bottomless pit, but have no fear, for your minor, major setbacks will have their clawbacks, and even the most bottomless pits can lead to wondrous places. You're going all loony on me again. I don't understand what you're trying to say. Speak one language and one alone will have this effect, but speak many and well like a circle, the communicative navigation can harmoniously transcend to the individual voices which would fill the auditoriums with cheers and laughter. See, you're doing it again. Look, I don't have time to listen to your riddles and nibbles. I want the full course. Well, I'll tell you now, if you want the full course, all in one, you'll surely be unable to move. Forget even trying to make a step. Why are you so in a rush anyways? Do you have a certain time frame to meet? If so, here is a present for you. More haste, less speed. Chapter 14. I'm trying to understand where you're trying to lead me, for I wish to climb this mountain of your mind, so why are you holding me firmly to your side? Is it because you seemed the sun and got burnt back down and now have lost your wings? I understand you may feel as though you are caring, but having listened to your vindictive comments, I must say you need to chill out a little and take a trip to somewhere there's to be a lot of color, for the smoky bright sun can leave us moldering black spots to the retina. The bloodshot red eyes of yours say you need sleep. There is nothing to fear, for I have met darkness and it is not so fearful. Someone I met a long time ago told me tears are good. It cleanses the soul and satisfies any impurities. Staring into nothing is not healthy. I hope whatever you concerned listen to, and I shall be a momentarily ear to listen. What is this mountain you talk about? I heard many myths about it, but yet to understand the full concept. It is hard to describe to one individual to the next individual, for every mountain is different. People spend and can spend their entire life climbing, and they come back with interesting solutions and phenomena which give light to the unexplained and unchallenged. For example, half mv squared combined with f equals ma. Look what happened when someone challenged this theory, and now it's no longer a theory but fact. This is science and clever manipulations with symbols and characters, no? Okay, fine. Who wrote and how we get to know and invent such symbols? What gives us the basic literacy to write and read? I quote, practice makes perfect, but saying that, well, I need to practice all my life to get to an unsolved mystery and solve it, then why can some do it and some cannot? I have a hypothesis. You are designed the way you are because you are an individual mountain you must climb. With every interaction, there is a purpose. Even a cat in a box will strive and screech for attention, for it is the will to do things and to be active to whatever you do. Why would it want to leave a cat in a box? How would you feel if someone was to do that to you? You glare back to the eyes of the inexperienced one and simply answer tenacity. So how and what will you plans for today, tomorrow, 31 days, 1 year, 5 years? This is too broad of a question, for I guess to plan for 1 day I would need 2 days of time, maybe shorter, and even with this algorithm there is no guarantee that the plan will be executed at 100% accuracy. You got a point, spot on. Just reminded me of the second law of thermodynamics. Memories. Well, let us help you out a little for the next 30 minutes. Get food because I'm damn hungry and can devour a whole lamb if barbecued right. Yeah, let's do that. Haven't had a barbecue for ages. Be great fun to smoke and grill nice pieces of cutlets of ham upon a stove. So who should we invite? What? What is this? You mean friends? What are these leeching carnivorous things? You know, those things which you can share ideas, be social, and generally have fun together? I think sharing is the anti-word here, for some wish not to and take a bit too much. Have I mentioned to you that I was a beauty and I once met? They love sharing, and when sharing comes to play, we'll share everything. Besides, how are you going to tell these friends in the next 25 minutes? A bit late notice for them, don't you think? So conclusion being, it would be inappropriate at this time, maybe another time, where more planning is involved. Now, go get the lamb monkey. Stop calling me that, you peanut head. Okay, thanks. Go get some peanuts as well. Grrr. Chapter 15. Where am I supposed to get the lamb from? Think they magically appear on trees for you to just pick and collect? Think you've mistaken yourself to be a true monkey, for bananas would need to be used to prepare seed. Traditionally, you would have to poach for it in the wild, having and slaughtering it, for it is tender meat. What you want me in the end of life or another being, so we can have a decent meal. Why? Have you a problem with that? Wouldn't that be like the time I ate the apple? You're beginning to learn another emotion which I have a faint memory of. It's called empathy. No, it's not, because I want to eat the lamb too. I think it's called counting your stockpiles. Whatever you want to call it, you're still going because you want to do it and it makes you feel great. The hunting or the thought of eating. The chase can be thrilling and sometimes even more thrilling than expecting after rewards, for seeking and preferring in itself can be a fulfillment to the tastes. The predatory instincts which glares for the prey, eagerly awaiting a moment of opportunity and chance where the prey is somewhat in abysmal for its surroundings, what lurks around doing its daily tasks. For I guess these surprises the prey, also heightening its adrenaline senses as they perceive an unknown threat within its vicinity. No, you're making it sound as though I would enjoy doing something like that. Can I just get the peanuts? What? What is this? No meat? Well, I suppose roasting peanuts and gently cracking open to the very real hard chewable nuts can be satisfying. Yeah, are you mad? What beats fat pieces of smoked stewed lamb meat wedged down the back of your teeth where you can grind your molars and chisel your way through the flavors? What was it then, meat or the nuts? Or will it be both or none? Dilemma. Choices, thought-induced decisions to commit. I can see your eyes rolling back into your head. This is what is called brain fizz, or a zombie, whatever you prefer. The propelling of the electromagnetic signalings in the mind are working as heat and isotopes monopolizes microscope erupts, having to routinely do tasks in keeping the body active, can come to a thought-punching predicament. What is it? That's right, it is choice. Choice itself and core attributes and affiliations which brings choice to a momentary matter. Choice of what, why, when, where, and how. I agree to disagree. The ends in no's. Yes, that's right. You are now thinking, but you are not yet too slow. Okay. Chapter 16. The wind blows and the air is misty. You just refresh yourself with a warm shower and feel the cool breeze of the magical palace locked within the four walls. Your only space is a few hundred meters, but you keep pacing up and down. Why? That's easy. To stay alert, to stay awake, to stay mentally active. Happy memories flood your mind. The slightest smile, the loud cry, the pain of agony all comes together as you reminisce the past, present, and future. The sound of footsteps and the noises of your surroundings keep you on your toes. Thankfully, you have music to accompany you. Not the best meaning at the time, but it helped the mind to concentrate on whatever you're doing. Yes, music, the transcending, euphorical, epileptic, yet cryptic life. If you don't have enough batteries, can release the mind from some anxiety, stress, problems you might have been worrying about. The first, second, third to a million of smokes, the fact, the pull as you smoke, intake, inhale the burn down tobacco into your lungs, fill yourself, freezes the mind for you are now taking in a luxury as it attempts to replace the finer air which you normally breathe. It soothes you, and now refine that drag of the smoke. This is how you roll. It's an addiction. One bad habit can lead to another, but the irresistible urge and temptation does not allow you to wake you and work your mind, forcing yourself not to smoke. Time will tell the momentary explosion of the mind as you imagine moving technological tectonic plates just with the will and power of your underlying imagination. Together we are one. Together we are united. Together we can overcome any barriers, obstacles, and obstructions. Even when you're isolated, shackled, and nowhere, and no one hears you, you must listen deep within your heart, the inner beat that tells you to must drive on and drive wild and fully experience what life can offer. Chapter 17. Night becomes day, day becomes night. For the insomniac, for she cannot tell the time, what is morning, afternoon, evening to bedtime, night time, and predominantly rest time. How many days has it been already? Your memory is lacking. Your intelligence is deteriorating. People try to support you, but you seem to lack the power. What is it? The power of love. Love can bring things together. Start a conversation. Keep people active. Keep people moving. Keep people to accomplish their goals, their tasks they set out to do. Do not be fooled by wickedness, for it comes in many forms, tempt you in doing bad things, even when you know they are wicked. But you must learn and observe for yourself, because the opposite of love is hatred, and it dwells in us all.